offering and all that jazz. All right. Well, welcome everyone to our webinar today. Actually, it's a Google Hangout, and I have Mr. Martin Ruiz. Actually, I'm very excited to introduce Martin to you guys because actually, as you guys know, my name is Kay. I'm in Best Easy Work, and it's truly an honor and a pleasure to actually have Martin on in a new year, brand spanking new year, where we can get things started and people are making a lot of money with something. So it's my honor and pleasure to introduce Martin Ruiz, the owner of Best Easy Work, the amazing program that has been going on, paying people lots of money. And Martin, I'm excited and delighted that you joined me here today. Welcome to this hangout.
Well, I appreciate it, and thank you so much for setting this up so that we can get the word out. Just to let people know that we're not going anywhere, we're just consistently growing, and we're more than happy to answer their questions and keep going forward. So I'm
Awesome.
always excited to help out people because as you help out people, what ends up happening is that you help yourself as well. So I'm always excited to help people.
Man, Martin, thank you for that. Actually, the interesting thing when I first met you, Martin, when I joined Best Easy Work, a couple of years back, actually, maybe a year or so back, and I was debating about calling you. I knew I needed to call you, but I was nervous about calling because I was thinking, here's actually the owner that I'm actually calling. So it was a nerve-wracking feeling. And when I actually called you, picked up the phone, that was like, wow, what a relief. The guy was actually pretty nice and simple, easy to get along with. And I felt really at home, finding the place that I needed to be in terms of working a business online, knowing that you answer the phone and just your professionalism, the simple ease of talking with you, that you made this process very easy. So, Martin, first introduction to that, you were wonderful just to meet you,
I
being the
appreciate
owner of
that.
the business. Yes.
There's,
And I
I remember I worked for a company once where they said customer service first, sales intent. So you first take care of Mr. Client, Mrs. Client first, and the rest kind of falls into place. So you have to be, you want to be treated, you want to treat people the way you want to be treated. So, it went through the training that I went through, and I just, I think I just took advantage of all the times that I sat through classes, and I really believe in helping people. As long as you're helping them, it goes along. Even if you don't get anything out of them that day, you still learn something from that experience, and for the next time, you're more, uh, you can anticipate how to handle the call next time.
Well, I think you did a fantastic job for what you do with Best Easy Work, and actually we're going to dive into that because I'm sure lots of people are excited to know about what Best Easy Work is, all about for the people who have heard this to kind of see you, in a new year, kind of recharging Best Easy Work. So just to get everyone up to speed, if you wouldn't mind, Martin, if you could tell us a bit about yourself and kind of what led you down this road to actually create a program like this with Best Easy Work.
Great question. Great question. I've always been hungry. I grew up in Brooklyn, and we had humble beginnings. And I grew up in a broken home, just like a lot of kids up in New York. And my mom, I think, was probably one of my greatest motivators because every time I asked her for something, she'll say, "You know what you need to do? Go out there and find some work for yourself because you're not going to get it here." And as soon as I was able to start working, doing anything, I started. But when you work for a company, you know that you're limited and you can only do as much as they allow you to do.
Very true.
So at a very young age, I decided I wanted to join the service, and I knew that still at that age, no one really takes you seriously at the age of 18, 19 years old. And even when you're 22, 23 years old, still companies do not take you seriously. So I started going to job interviews that were stating that you can make $100,000 a year. And the newspapers, you see them all the time. Well, most of these jobs were some type of position where you need a license, at least a high
Mhm.
school education, some college, and some type of license, mostly insurance. I started selling cars. I did it for 3 months. I hated it. And one individual walked in one day. He was like 31 years old, and he bought a Mercedes from me in cash. He just wrote a
Woohoo!
check. And I said, "What is it you do?" He says, "I do insurance." And so the light bulb is going on. So I knew that I needed to get my insurance license somehow. And when I was 27, When you're limited, and let me just take you there. When you're limited, let's say you're making $15,000 a year, maybe $18,000, which is getting by money. Okay, it's very difficult to come up with an extra 300, let's say $500 for you to take a class. It's very difficult because your bills are right behind you. Okay, so ironically, when I was 27, I got into a car accident. I was sitting at a stop sign, and somebody ran in behind me, and my car was crushed, and they took me to the hospital. And at the end of the week, I had a check in my hand for 2,200 bucks from the insurance company, from the car insurance company. I was in the middle of buying my first home, so I couldn't finance a car because they would look at that and they'll say I can't get into the home. So I had to buy a car cash. So what I did was I got me an old beat up used Honda Civic, 1982. Okay, and it needed a battery and an alternator. So I fixed that and I got into it for about 1,200 bucks. And but by the time I got done, I had like an extra 700 bucks. And I thought, with that 700 bucks, I can get my insurance license. So that's what I did. I finally had the money for an insurance license. I didn't know about borrowing money. I didn't know any of that. I was too young. I had no mentorship. So I started selling insurance, and in 1991, I started doing what they call a Medicare HMO. A Medicare HMO is funded by the government, by Medicare. It's basically repositioning what Medicare spends every month with the permission of the customer. The customer gives the company permission by signing some paperwork that Medicare is allowed to pay the company. At that point, the individual will get benefits at no monthly cost. So you asked me, where did this idea come from? I love the idea of opening somebody's mind by saying, look, don't worry about cost because the cost is taken care of. So how can we deliver the same message? Then in 1995, when Windows 95 came out, and I started asking questions like, does that mean that everybody's going to have the internet? Does that mean everybody's going to have a computer in their home? And does that mean I can be in everybody's household? Well, if you can afford the advertising, I said, no, 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 I'm not talking about the money. I'm talking about, can you be in everybody's household? Can you have a channel somehow? They say, yes. And it says, well, how are you going to get the money? I said, we don't need the money. We need the people. So if we can show them how we can do something for free, we can get people to work. And why not pay these people at least something to get us a paid member? So that's where the idea started coming along. And then as I started looking online, I started seeing other programs that how they manipulate the market out there. I started picking and choosing what I liked from different programs. And of course, from my insurance background. And before you knew it, I had this one program working for us. And basically, I picked what I thought was best out of other different programs. And of course, we added our own ideas. And as time went on, people had questions and concerns that we have handled through time. And so now that's what the website reflects. People will say, well, why can't we do this? Or why can't we do that? Well, and we also, if you notice the website, it has certain features on the website that are not on other websites. So our site is, the whole thing is to keep the website as simple as possible, because the minute you confuse someone, you just lost that person's attention. So, the dog barks, the phone rings, you'll never hear from that person again. You got to keep the website exciting, short, sweet, to the point, and accessible, transparent to reach somebody that I can pick up the phone. No chatting. It's not a chatting or a support ticket, because that believe it or not, I feel that it discourages people from moving forward when they can't get a hold of someone. Sometimes people just want to hear your voice and know that there's someone there. There are many times where a person calls me and they'll say, I can't believe you're still in business. I called you last year and I haven't done anything. And then they join. So I don't care if it comes now or next year or next month. The fact is that as long as there's a need for people to make money, we're gonna be in business.
Martin
So
supplies it.
yeah,
Love it.
that's it.
Actually, you made some good things there, Martin. The idea that you picked and choose the best of the best. Because I mean, when I was in the market of looking for something to do, it's always, people want something that's easy, and I definitely want something easy, simple, don't have to spend a lot of time with, and definitely hands off, right?
Right.
And that's what you really give people with besties. For me, that's what I found you did very well in giving people that kind of avenue. Easy, simple, and hands off if you want this kind of business to be that. So, Martin, my hat's off to you. You did a great job with this one. Now,
What
moving
makes
forward,
it look what makes it look like it's automated is because there's somebody in the background handling the incoming business. That's why it looks like it's hands off. If there was no one in place, that's why most outfits have the problem of you having to handle the incoming call. I can't tell you how many times people say, so they'll ask me, so does that mean I don't have to answer the phone? Because most of the time I don't have time for this. And says, I'm not asking you for your time. I'm asking you whether or not you're willing to post an ad or share your link. It takes about 30 seconds to a minute to place an ad. After you know what you're doing, it doesn't take very long at all. Myself, I do about no more than 4 or 5 hours a week, and that's all I do.
wow. But
And
actually, you know what, Martin, in that kind of a idea that you're going, that let's address that kind of for folks coming in. Now, can you walk us through what it is or how people would get involved in Best Season Work, the process, and then what they would do after they get involved?
once they sign up, just to look around on the lead page, everybody has the same lead page. I encourage people not to create extra lead pages because that's just a little frustrating when you're making a person sign in more than once. So everybody has the same lead page, and they sign in. They're going to create a username and password. They're going to see a presentation which is called a bridge page, and then I'm telling them to log in so that they can see the back office, and then that's going to give them some further ideas on how to do the marketing and how to get in front of people. So in our back office, one of the neat things which people might just take for granted, if you noticed in the back office, we now have a menu that stays fixed at the top of the page. So the menu is always staring at you. It's not going to get lost. At one time when I was first starting out, we just had buttons and people had to kind of figure out where to go. Now we have a nice little menu on top, and as they're scrolling up and down that page, the menu stays fixed, and so does the background. So now when you go in your menu, people say, so where do I begin? I first tell them, please, even though you saw my number, please take the time to read that page. It's not going to take you long, maybe no more than a minute, and let it sink in. If you have to read it twice, read it twice. We're talking about serious money here. It's not everywhere where you can just plug into a system and in one sale you make $1,000 or $2,000, whatever it is. It's not every day that you're going to find that opportunity and somebody else handling the work for you. So please, if you want to make this kind of money, focus and pay attention on this one page. Now, in your back office, I'm also telling you how to do your marketing and what it is that works for me. And I'm sitting in a very good position now because I get to see what other people are doing and what's working. There's a lot of people doing marketing and they wonder why they have 200 or 300 members and they're all free, and they're thinking, well, why are they all free? That's because they're going fishing in a pond where there's no fish. Okay, you have to go to the pond where the fish are jumping out. That's why you see bears by collecting their salmon that are jumping out of the water. So you want to go to a pond or a lake where fish are jumping out of the water. Okay, so you don't want to spend your time too much on a lake that might have just a few salmon swimming by. You won't catch those fish because they don't come out very often. So where is it that people are hungry? Well, those same people, if you go to any city, to the employment line, you're going to see a lot of people that are hungry and that they want to work. They just need direction. So people that are posting their resumes, people that are posting ads, or people that are looking at ads, those people are hungry. So our job is to feed them. That's our job. We have to be in position. Now, let's realize what places like, and I want to pick on Craigslist. Let's realize what Craigslist is doing out there. Craigslist is in a position to collect your money to place an ad or to get some exposure. Now, unfortunately, the the one main problem with Craigslist is that you're competing with everybody else. It's just like when you look in a phone book and you're looking at a plumber and you look up the plumbing section and you see 120 plumbers in there. Which one do you pick? Well, the one with the prettiest ad, the one that's going to say, "Hey, look at me. I'm over here glowing." So if you notice how we place our ads stand out among the others. Even the title stands out. I show you how to make your title stand out among anybody else's. So they see the title, they look at it, they see a pretty little picture. Now your ad has to be, I don't care what you put in there. I tell you what to put in there, but honestly, you can put in whatever you want, but you want to make your ad short, sweet, to the point. No resistance. And also, one of the things about Craigslist has grown, and they have changed their methods of how they do their advertising. You got to be very careful of how you post your ads so that you can have your ads stick and they don't get flagged or removed. And the way you do that is to prevent yourself from, and I mentioned it, do never post a link. You want to post a phone number. Every time somebody sees a phone number, they're happy to call that number. If they see an opportunity, they will call that number. The minute you give somebody a link, you're telling them, "Hey, come on over to my place over here and leave a note if you want." Well, you want them to commit to something. So now when they call, remember, your time is valuable. You don't want to talk to tire kickers, because the minute a person calls and you're giving that person answers, they have preconceived notions already, and they'll say, "Oh, I know what that is," and you'll never hear from them again. So you still got to keep them hungry. So what you do is when they call, let them hear a voice message, something very simple, something like, "Thank you for calling. I just sent you a text message. Check your text messages. Do not leave a message. Just check your text messages." So now they check their text message, and you know that in today's world, this wouldn't have worked 20 years ago, but in today's world, everybody has a cell phone, if not one, two. Okay, and when
It's
you
true.
go out to dinner, you don't even see people talking to each other anymore. They're all glued to their cell phone. So now they just call the number and they got a text message right away. And then they
Alright,
go,
that's
"That's the
ingenious.
website." Now they might
That's
not go to
ingenious.
your website right there on the spot, but now they go, "That's the link," and they'll get to it and they'll go. And your text message is way stronger because that person called you. It's not a postcard. Postcards at one time used to work very effectively. The problem with postcards today is that you can't press a button on a postcard. You have to
Man,
type it in. You have to take it to your computer and look at it 2 or 3 times to type it in there correctly. And sometimes people type in the website address on the search bar and it doesn't show up. So a postcard is not as effective as texting today because everybody has this little unit called the smartphone.
you're
And then
so
they
right.
go and the
Martin,
process begins.
that's
The
what I
website
love.
does the job.
With Besties at Work, for the time that I've been in, you've always come up with some great ideas about marketing that you post in the back office that everyone have access to. So that's like a unique thing about Besties at Work is the ability to do marketing. People who don't know anything about coming online, haven't done this stuff before, you actually provide all these tips, tricks, and
The
techniques
answers.
actually in the back office.
Yeah, the
Very
answers.
important.
One of the things that's a little frustrating is that, and I'm not really picking on the big giant names, but there's some huge, uh, uh, very wealthy, successful people out there, and God bless them. They got lucky, and the problem that I see with the majority of these successful people is that when they get in their soapbox, and I'm going to mention a few names, they're out there, the Mark Zuckerbergers, the Bill Gates, all these big giant names that are out there. When they get on their soapbox, this is what you hear. Stay positive. You can do
Uh,
it. If it happened for me, it can happen for you. The problem is they don't show you how. They
good
just say
point.
stay positive, and as long as you stay positive and you go to work every day, you will have success. How? The question is how. Show me what door I need to open. Show me what I have to say. Well, that's what I try to implement on the site to let you know word for word exactly what it is that we're saying or doing or what's working effectively. Because I don't want to waste our time on this planet is very short, so it's very valuable. So we have to take advantage of our time and run with it and help people, especially when you think about it as you get older, you're going to help your family and your children and the people around you. How wonderful is it knowing that you left this planet helping other people rather than just taking advantage of what was in there for you? You got to help people. And if you're helping people and you're leaving them in a better place, I think you're doing a good job.
Martin, you're doing a super job, I tell you, for a lot of many people.
Let me point this out to you. One of the things I realized this week when I was doing insurance, I accumulated about 4,500 members that got involved with the insurance in a 15-year period. And now to get those 4,500 members, I probably went into maybe 8,000 or 9,000 homes individually. Okay, over that 15-year period. 15 years to
Oh my.
accumulate 4,500 members. Now, that was in 15 years. In 3 years, we have over 103,000 members.
Wow.
That's
That's
so let's break up 103,000. That's in 3 years. Let's say 33,000 people. So we got 33,000 people per year
fair.
in comparison to 350 people per year. That's a big difference what you can do with the internet. The internet is a powerful tool that everybody has access to. Don't tell me you don't have the money, because when you don't have the money, you have the will, you will find a way to find that money. I had a lady this week who told me she just got fired. She still found the money to join Best Easy Work because she saw the opportunity. So it's not a question of not having the money. It's a question that you understand what valuable sources you have in front of you. It's not just Best Easy Work, it's the internet. You have to give the person an avenue to help themselves. So that's what this is.
Oh man, actually, you brought up some good points there, Martin. Because I'm just gonna ask this question. So people could still join for free.
Yes, yes, ma'am. Always.
Wow. Always. Actually, if you could touch on why that process would still be good when you're out there as a marketer or a person looking to make money online, and you're marketing a business, and the business will allow people to come in free. How would that be valuable to you, or why would you want
Well,
that in the program?
well, for me, when I first started off free, when I started doing the insurance, I know that that's your attention grabber. So uh, we're not going to be able to say free if we don't offer free. We have to be able to offer free. So that's a valuable point. Um, I'm going to tell you how free turns into money. Free, you find John Doe that's a free marketer. Maybe he's not in position to spend the money or whatever his reasoning is, but he starts sharing the link. And let's say you are $1,000 member. You are a paid member, that's $1,000 member, and you find John, that's a free member, and he decides to advertise. Now, John, he advertises, and let's say he gets 10 people in his system, and one of his members decides to be $1,000 member. Well, he's working for you and he's using our services. The free member, John, he's going to receive $25. The commission on $1,000 member is $750. That means that when being that you're $1,000 member yourself, the $725 is going to roll up to you. But the beauty of this whole thing is that the free member did the advertising. somebody else managed the sale for you, and then you received it within the next few days because you used a third party source. You used a third party marketer and a third party source to get you the money. So if you can motivate, if the website can motivate a free member to share the link, they're actually advertising you. So how wonderful is it that you have many members marketing and they're actually advertising you at no cost? And let me take it further what free is, okay, so that people can understand the magnitude of the power of people. And I've mentioned it on our website, if you can kind of read between the lines, the larger the audience, the more money you're going to make. And it looks like, when people go to the movies, people think, well, they're making money off of my movie ticket and my popcorn. Well, actually not. They're actually making more money out of when a person puts a movie together. And the reason why these movie actors and these people get these giant salaries, let's think about that for a second. In the U.S. alone, there's over 3,300 cities. 3,300 cities. So let's just take a small number, $1,000. So if 3,300 people are paying $1,000, that's a lot of money. Well, these movie theaters are making a lot more than $1,000. So when they put out these movies that cost, let's say, $50 million or whatever it is, and they generate $500 million in 1 week or 2 weeks, it's because they know the numbers. They understand that if they feed a large audience and they get a fraction of people coming back, that's why the people like Will Smith, Denzel Washington, they get those checks of $20 million in one pot because they're working with the masses. They're not just waiting for that one check. They're working with the masses. The internet is the first vehicle for the common average person to reach the public at little to no cost in comparison. Now, these people doing the movies, they still, they're paying a pretty penny to be in front of the audience, but they know what the result is because they're in front of the masses of numbers. So the more free members that come on board, the happier I am because they're working for us. I'm happy to get these free members all the time.
I see. Now you make it crystal and clear. I mean, that's pretty powerful when you have a whole group of. I always heard the idea, many hands, light work. It's like,
Yes.
why would you want to go do it yourself? You get a whole bunch of people coming on, making you money.
Right.
Love it. That's ingenious, Martin.
Yeah, that's all I did was imitate what's already out there. If you can have your audience work for you, and they come to the movies and they spend $5 or $10, $20, whatever it is, and you still made $1, but the audience is millions of people or hundreds of thousands of people,
and you didn't do the work.
To me, that's because you're gonna reap the rewards. So it's just a matter of creating your audience.
Can you tell us what you're seeing with this scenario where free people are coming in and you're seeing, you're writing checks to people? You seen what's happening with that kind of process and people making money from that?
The free member, sometimes you get them to, and don't think this is mean, but sometimes the free member, they'll get 3 or 4 or 5 people, and one or two things are going to happen. They're going to get their $25 per member, and either they get excited and they find the money and they upgrade, or they go, man, it took me a week or two to get me $75. Maybe I should go out and get a job. Well, I tell anybody that when you first start, sometimes you do have to have a job first to generate some type of money to keep moving forward. But take some of this money and don't just pay bills, pay yourself first. Go ahead and do something you want to do. Market yourself and multiply your efforts, because the minute that you multiply your efforts, you have other people working for you. And that's the whole key. If you can get other people to work for you at no cost, which is what the internet does, that's a wonderful place to be. I don't know how many ads are being posted. I see ads coming in all the time, and sometimes I'm checking them out, and I see that somebody's posting Best Easy Work. Great, fantastic. This is something that somewhere in time we planted a seed where somebody else is doing the marketing, but we're still getting something out of it.
Wow.
So what if we only made a fraction, but out of the masses, that's just a wonderful place to be.
You know what, Martin? I could actually speak about, the free members actually helping you make money because I actually joined with a free member. I saw Best Easy Work because someone posted a link for free. I joined right away, saw the value, automatically went at the $1,000 level, and they got $25, and everything rolled up to the person who was that
Right.
qualified at that level. So, are you seeing that where people are coming in and these
All
free
the
members are
time.
being all the time?
I had an individual in just the last few days, a guy that came in from Chicago, I think it was. He came in with and one of the neat things about the way this is set up is that here I am in Central Florida, and people come in from anywhere in the country, New Zealand, Japan, wherever, it doesn't matter, and they put their information in, and we're able to get their money right then on the spot. So uh, a free guy just a few days ago. This happens, very common. Free guy got his $25, but he got a member in for 2,500.
Ooh,
Never did I speak to this individual, and the person said, "Charge my card at 2,500." That means that the free member lost out on all this money.
that's a lot of money to lose.
So
Lots of
you got to
money.
be in position first. And this is, I tell people, look, it's like when you hire a plumber. You hire a plumber so that he can work for you. So you're going to pay him a fee, and he's going to do a job for you. So in a sense, Best Easy Work, I'm telling you, if you're willing to partner with me, I'm happy to pay you. Now, if you're not willing to pay a price to work here, then I'm happy to. If you're willing to share the link, I'm happy to pay you $25. But if you're willing to pay me first, I'm going to pay you nicer when the time comes that you do get a buying member, and then you're going to get a higher commission payout. So I also like to explain it like this. When a person comes out of high school and they join the military, they go in as a private first class. I'm sorry, a private, just a private, an E1. They call them an E1, and that's it. Now, if you have 2 years worth of college, you're going to go in as a private first class, so you're going to get paid a little bit better, and they're going to treat you a little
Mhm.
bit better. If you have a 4-year degree, you're going to go in as a second lieutenant, not enlisted, a second lieutenant. That means you're in charge and you're going to get paid more. If you go in with graduate school behind you, you're going to go in as a captain. Why is that? Because you already paid your dues. So in a sense, you're paying your dues to have a higher rank in the membership program
That makes
so
sense.
that you can
Actually,
receive.
I see a lot of these top tier programs where their entry points are really a lot to come in, and the support of what they give you to actually have that business run is nothing near Best Easy Work. They don't give you the ads, they don't give you the tips. They kind of give you the training of working on your brain of how to go do this
Yeah.
stuff,
They
right?
pat
Without
you on the
actually
back and say
showing you.
good luck. Yeah, they
Yes,
pat you on
pretty
the back
much. They
and
prep
say
you up
this
and
is
say,
what
okay,
we do. Mhm.
go do this. No, Best Easy Work for me, I found to be amazing with the idea that, you know what, anyone can come in for free, start for free, and actually make money at this. And if you
Uh,
really see this thing, you could come in, and that's your lieutenant story, but come in at the top, and you're getting all the grade from everyone below you kind of
right.
coming in.
Well, you said it best when you said take the best of the best and just implement it. So that's what
You
we're doing.
did a nice job. Well, actually, here's a question to follow up here, Martin. What would you say to someone who's out there, looking for a business in this new year, right? They're looking to make not just make money, but actually
Excuse me.
change their financial situation. Can they do it here at Best Easy Work?
I've seen it happen.
Uh,
I've seen it happen. It's possible. It's just a question of sharing your link. It's just a
Perfect.
question of you sharing the link.
Well, well, with that, actually, you know what? I want to wrap this up. It's going over. I want to thank you, Martin, so much for being on this call with me, taking this time out to actually help us out and understand the magnitude of what Best Easy Work is. In 2019, it's going to be an awesome year because I've seen you actually transition Best Easy Work into quite a force online. When everything else is falling apart, Best Easy Work is standing strong and making people lots of money.
Yeah, I'm happy to do
So
it.
Excellent. Well, with that, guys, get back to anyone who shared this link with you. Get in touch with them. And as always, you've seen Martin. You know he's an accessible guy. That he's here to make us all a lot of money. So here's to a wonderful 2019. Martin, thank you for joining me on the hangout
Thank you
here.
so much for the opportunity, Kay. Have a
All
great
right.
day. Bye.
You too. Bye bye.